Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to Superhero Spotlight Week. My name is Steve, and with me today is Ikbel from Rhapsodies Conseil. Ikbel, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Very good, thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Why don't we start off? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ikbel, and indeed Rhapsodies Conseil?
Um, I love to introduce myself as a fintech enthusiastic. Okay, I've started my journey with the fintechs with building my own one, specialized on loyalty and payment. And then I've moved to the Conseil, and now I'm leading the Rhapsodies Conseil team regarding the digital payments and the fintechs.
Okay, fantastic. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the business and where the area of focus is for you?
At Rhapsodies Conseil, we are a digital transformation company. Okay, and we assist our client in order to transform their information system. It can be about the methodology, it can be about the process, the IT, the architecture, and of course about the payment, the practice that they represent.
Great, thank you. Okay, so what are we talking about today? It's the complexities of choosing payment service providers. Let's tee this up with a conversation, a question for you. Why is the selection of payment services providers so complicated and complex?
The complexity is growing from year to year. I mean, if we go back in time historically, if we take the case of a merchant, for example, once he is looking for pay or payout solutions, he went historically to his bank, and that's okay, that's fine. He got the solution they are able to give to him, and that's it. Now what we are seeing for the last years is a huge number of players on the ecosystem. I mean, just if we look only to Europe, we have thousands of fintechs with hundreds of paytech. So I actually imagine the complexity which is coming from the ecosystem itself. But why do we have such a huge number of players? Because the functional offer is coming more and more complex due to a more and more regulated market. And the regulation itself, like the PSD2, offered a huge opportunity to more and more players to enter the game and propose very specific and extraordinary solutions for very specific pain points. So, if you want to answer the obvious questions of who does what, it becomes very quickly a real headache, and the partnerships that we are observing on the ecosystems doesn't simplify this stuff, because I mean, knowing who's responsible for this and this functionality, whether it becomes really very complex. And from a merchant perspective is very complex. But even if we move to a more experienced market like fintechs, it's the same thing. I mean, we are here talking about regulated versus non-regulated actors, and here we are very it's easy to say, yeah, okay, I will go to one-stop shop, get everything, and everything is okay. But no, it doesn't work that easy.
Yeah, it's very nuanced and very fragmented, the ecosystem. We've for a long time we've commented on you go to a big payments conference like Money 2020, or even a more boutique but fantastic payments conference like Paris FinTech Forum. Yes. To an outsider, there's so many organizations competing doing the same thing, but the reality is there's subtlety and nuance to all of them.
Exactly.
So in terms of vendor selection, in terms of deciding on what the best payment service provider is for you as a fintech startup, how do you go about making that choice? I mean, this must be something that you as a professional services firm, it must be something that you get asked a lot, and you have to help your clients with vendor selection. But what's the process you would go through to help an organization make that decision?
Thank you, Steve, for this question. Very tough one, actually. But I mean,
it's supposed to be tough.
Because I mean, if I had only one advice to give to our client, is to say, okay, focus on your needs. That's the key to succeed in selecting such partnership. It's a very strategic partnership. You can easily be attracted by very, very sexy brands, worldwide brands, and say, yeah, they are robust, they are, I mean, fantastic. If I partner with them, I will be the best one on the ecosystem. But no, it doesn't work this way. I mean, the best way of selecting the best solution for you, because we don't believe at Rhapsodies Conseil, we don't at all believe that there is one size fits all or one best in class for everything worldwide. No, it doesn't exist. What really exists is that you have to focus on your needs. What does it mean? Meaning, what experience do you want to offer to your client? What are your constraints? And if we talk about constraints, you have to talk about your legacy, about the architecture, about the budget, about the roadmap. And talking about the roadmap, I mean, from my point of view, the target is quite secondary. I know this is shocking, but for me, it's quite kind of secondary. Because why? Because the journey is much more important than the target itself. Why? Because in 2 or 3 years, maybe the target will move. But what is the main important here is that every single metro station on your roadmap, you have to be fine with it and not just trying to move from one station to another. You see, so here you have to focus on stuff like security, of course. You're dealing with payment, so you have to deal with the regulation. You have to deal with what kind of costs you are accepting to pay. And here about the costs it's a very particular subject. Why? Because you have to be sure that you are comparing comparable solutions. I mean, are they offering the main scope? Are they offering the same level of support? If we can take a small example, I mean, I will definitely not advise the same solution provider to my clients, depending on how much his team is skilled about payment internally. Because one will need just to be plugged to the right rails, the most effective ones, okay? And yeah, they take care, they have the team, they can do everything. But others are really looking for supportive suppliers and partnership. See, so it's very, that's why I said that it's a very tough questions. But for me, the main advice is focus on your needs and on your roadmap.
So what I'm hearing there is you need to have a clear understanding of the business you're building, what your needs are, but you have to be very, very specific with your needs, with an eye to what you look at, what you need now, and an eye for the future as well. It seems to me you need to be an expert in your own business before you get started, or at the very least have some help hand-holding and navigating this well, sounds like a minefield. What are the specific key elements that you would consider if you're helping a client of yours make the right choice? What are the key elements that you would encourage them to be considering and taking into account when making this kind of decision?
From my perspective, I mean, the main questions would be about the user experience you want to offer to a client. That's the main one for me. And from this point, you can drill down the different other topics and see what's fits you and suits you best. Okay, so if you look to the best user experience, you have to first, in terms of payment, offer obviously the preferred payment methods your client are looking for. I mean, and again here about the selection. If you go and try to select the service provider who is proposing the largest list of payment method, doesn't make sense. If you are just targeting like 1 or 2 or 3 European countries, you see, so you're gonna pay for something you will never use. That's the point here about the method. I hear a lot of, and I read a lot of articles and positions about the payment methods. We have like more than 350 payment method, but most of the merchant will not use them because they are focusing on just a very specific area. Other than this, of course, you have to focus on the data. Regarding the data here, we have, we are living in a very particular period, and we are lucky to have the open payment and the open data, and we can use the open banking and the open data to enhance and build very extraordinary user experience, independently whether he comes on physical shops or online or through a marketplace business model or dropshipping or whatever. So it's completely seamless for the client, and this is can be extraordinarily pushed forward with the open payment and the open banking data. Other than this, of course, once you are launching such a project or you are trying to move forward and enhance your services, you are starting with a certain legacy. So you have, and you are not playing with only one solution. So you need to be the orchestrator of such solutions and such complexity. Here again, I will get back to the roadmap and define the right metro stations in order to have always the best-in-class service quality and offer and value proposition to your end customers. So you see, there is several topics here. We are talking about the user experience, we are talking about the data, we are talking about the architecture, we are talking about the costs, and obviously we are talking about the regulation, which is on the background of all what I said. Because when you talk about the user, he's protected with rules. When you are talking about marketplaces, for example, again, we are not anymore able to play with the transactions as we used to do, because you have to partner with, or to get the right regulation license, or to partner with the right player to give you the right to collect on behalf of third parties. So you see.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier there are 350 different payment types. That's a staggering amount of knowledge that you need to be managing as a service provider, as a professional services firm. How do you as an organization help your clients navigate that many different payment types and help them prioritize what's important and what's not?
Again, starting from the very specific methodology, starting from the needs, the assessment of the needs, and each time it's amazing. Each time my client asks to have such functionality of this payment method, I ask always why, and then not always they have the why. They just ask for it, and that's it, because they are seeing others having it.
Because they want it.
Yeah, because it's sexy, it's shining, so they want to have it. So, seriously, we really assess their needs, and on the other hand, what we do is a very close we've built and continue to build strong partnerships and strong service providers' value proposition assessment and scoring of their solutions, in order to not waste time, even for the payment solution provider and for our customer, of course. And with this scoring and very specific knowledge of their value proposition, we can get the best ones very quickly for them.
Okay. Thank you. So, Ikbel, we're fast out of time, and it occurs to me that you really have to be a superhero to help navigate your clients through this payments ecosystem. Just in closing, any final thoughts or insights that you'd like to give on the state of the market at the moment?
I mean, again, yeah. If I have only one advice, is your needs first, and then you see, with thousands and hundreds of solution provider, for sure there is the best one for you, but it should be for you and not the best one with the most sexy marketing on the market. That's the advice that I would.
Okay. So, if anybody out there listening needs a superhero to help them navigate this space, how do they get hold of you, Ikbel?
Yeah, I'm available on LinkedIn, of course, so you can reach out on LinkedIn or send me an email. My email is ikbel.snoussi@rhapsodiesconseil.fr, and of course our website, rhapsodiesconseil.fr.
Brilliant. Well, look, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, and thanks for sharing your insights. Good to chat.
Thank you, Steve, very much. Thank you very much for you and for Currency Cloud